Why, rumor has it that Waylon Jennings' son Shooter has been offered the gig twice, and supposedly he has turned it down twice. He's the only one that's come out and said this. Why, why him? And what's going on with that? Why just? Is there any rumor or truth to that?
The reality is that Shooter's a friend of mine that I met when the first week he came to LA from Nashville. I met him, and we've been friends ever since. We've done some stuff together, acoustic stuff. Tom Morello used to have this night in LA every Tuesday at this hotel cafe place. And Shooter and I have played then, and it's funny because, like I said, I have the Google Alerts thing that tells you, anything that says Velvet Revolver you get in an email that day. And I had gotten that thing the night before that Shooter did, or that said that about the interview from Classic Rock. And I actually got an email the next day from Shooter saying, dude, I didn't say that. I was totally, they messed it up. They were fishing. They said this. And, I've had like 15 heart attacks since then. And I don't want you guys to think that I said that because I didn't say that. And he's always been super respectful of, the band. He was always been a huge GNR fan. And, he had a band, Stargun, and when I was first in this band, I had brought Duff to go see the band, and Duff and I had talked about producing some Stargun demos, and so, it was just, I don't know what really happened, but as far as Shooter, is concerned, he assured me that it was taken way out of context, and a week later, I got another series of emails saying, I didn't say that. I just want to make sure no one's pissed at me. And, I would never say stuff like that. And the truth is that he and I had talked about it at one point, and there's parts of the interview that I read that were really very true where, I said, would you be interested in, kind of throwing down on a couple songs? And he had said, I'd really rather, us get together and try and write something from scratch. And I don't think that everyone's heads were in a place, to do that, because we all kind of wanted to be maybe not so intimate with working with someone and then having to say, oh, it's really not working out. Or so we, everyone wasn't too keen on that idea. And so it just kind of died right there. But, I did talk to him about it, and, Duff and I had talked about it too, about talking to him, because I had thrown his name in the hat. So that was kind of what really happened, as far as Shooter.
Anybody else? Is it pretty much open cast call? Are you guys looking for somebody who's like a little bit more experienced and polished, somebody who's out in the field that maybe more of a respected, well-known name, or kind of somebody underground that you can bring up and kind of create to be your own?
It really doesn't matter. When we first did it, we didn't care, and we don't really care now. I think we kind of vacillate between wanting a known guy and not caring if it's a known guy. We've never thought we need an unknown guy, but, we think about a known guy, and then, we worked with this one unknown guy, and then everyone's mood changed to, we need a guy that, really, but that'll last about 2 weeks, and then it's, whoever is the right person. I think that, but, in all honesty, there's big shoes to fill, right. And you really, Scott really is the complete package. He had experience. He had, he looks the part. He's talented. He can sing. He can write lyrics. He can do everything, and he's got his whole thing. And to kind of step in to be the singer of a band with, basically me and the guys from Guns N' Roses is, I think there's a certain amount of, there's a lot of expectation, on that guy. So he really has to kind of have, and Scott had all the stuff, and the next guy has to have all the stuff.
Speaking of Scott, he's actually in town doing a solo show tonight. I don't know, I just thought I brought that up. He's doing a show. Yeah. So how is the relationship with you and Scott?
I haven't talked to Scott probably since since he was gone, but my wife is actually friends with his wife because they used to have a business together. And, you know, I don't really have any ill will for the guy. I mean, you know, I'm not saying like it was really hard at the time. You know, it was very difficult. And I think that, you know, the band was being pulled in different directions and everyone had different agendas. And I think that, I mean, even in hindsight, I'm not positive that, I mean, I feel it was the right thing at the moment. You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't blame him. It was just, you know, wasn't working. I don't know if, yeah, I'm not sure why, you know, but the fact is that I really don't have any, you know, animosity or anything. It's just like, you know, things happen and everyone's got their own path. And, you know, maybe his path was to do a solo record and, you know, to do his thing with SCP and, you know, that's his thing. But, you know, Scott and I've known Scott longer than anyone in the band. Like, I've known John, you know, Karabi, since he first moved to LA in like 88, I think. I was one of the first people he met. And, you know, my old band used to play with Scott's band in clubs before they were even called SDP, you know, when they were Mighty Joe Young. And so I've always gotten along with Scott, you know, and we've always had a kind of a mutual respect for each other. And, you know, I think in the band we would always get along very well within the band because we had such a history from before that. And like, he knew a lot of my friends from back when he lived in San Diego. And, you know, so we always got along fine.